Welcome into the Harvest, friends. I'm Abigail, and I'm here with Andrew and Keith. Hey, guys.
Hey, Abby.
Hi. So, guys, we have a really great show for you today. We talked about the dangers of the digital age last week, and as soon as we put stop on that episode, we were like, there is still so much goodness to come. And so we just decided to hit up a two-parter. So surprise, here we are to talk about it again. Hopefully even better stuff that we just didn't get to last week. We saved the best for last, we hope. So stick around for that. But if you are new to our channel, we just want you to know that this is a place where we hope you can get the tools and tricks that you need to be a disciple and make disciples in this 21st century. So go ahead and click on the bell if you are on YouTube, or subscribe if you are on a podcast channel, and that way you'll get all the goods. So we have a couple of announcements to start off today's show. Andrew, you want to kick those off for us?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Abby. One is that we are doing an end of summer fundraiser. For those of you who listen to the show regularly, you know that we almost never talk about how this show is possible financially, but it's because we have partners who believe in what we're doing, want to be a part of it, want to see it grow. And since the start of the pandemic, our funding for this particular ministry has been down quite a bit on a month-to-month basis. So we're doing an end of summer fundraiser. And if this ministry has been encouraging to you and you'd like to be a part of supporting it and helping it grow, then you can do that over at our website. There's actually also a link in the description to this video. And if you're listening to the podcast, there is a link in the show notes. But you can go to our website, intotheharvest.org/donate, and you can help us keep this thing going and help it grow. So that's one thing. A second project that we've been working on that I wanted to let folks know about, and we'll be talking about this more in the coming weeks, but we've been developing a series called five essential studies that every disciple maker should do. And we're going to be taking our first group through that actually exactly 1 month from the day that this podcast comes out. So if you're one of those people that watches or listens on the day the show comes out, then exactly 1 month, September 20th is when we're going to take our first group through this. Really excited about this. This is actually something we've been wanting to do more of, is to have interactive groups with our community. And this is going to be the first of those. So we're going to take 20 people through this interactive study of 5 essential Bible studies that if you want to make disciples, these are 5 topics that you really need to have a good foundation on. It'll be a 6-week course, and it'll run from mid-September through the end of October. If you're hearing this, then you're invited. This isn't for, you could be anywhere in the world and be part of this group. So we'll have more details to come in the coming weeks, but wanted to let folks know about that so it's on their radar.
Yeah, we are really pumped about this. I think from the beginning, just the way this ministry works, a lot of it is just us talking at you, and we really want to have a full-blown conversation with you. So this is one way that you can be a voice and a actual conversation partner with us. So we want that to happen. So go ahead. We'll be linking that very soon. Keep an eye out and join up. Be one of those lucky 20, right? It's 20, correct?
It is 2020. Yep.
The lucky 20.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, we're going to get into today's topic. And those listening, I just want you to know it's blazing hot in California right now.
Man.
The guys are sweating.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So just, they're glistening. They're very cute and they're glisten.
This is half podcast, half sauna. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
I know. Mike's skin looks all nice and glowing and brown, but it's because of sweat, you know?
People need to understand that there's no air conditioning in California,
Nope.
At least not here.
It's not a thing.
It's
not a thing.
And we're not complaining because most of the year,
I mean,
we don't need it.
It's fine.
We don't need it.
Oh, yeah.
But we can't cool this room down right now is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like this is it right
brutal.
now.
Yeah, it's rough watching you. I on the other hand am in like a lovely 74 is my guess because I have air conditioner because it's Texas. It is a bazillion degrees outside though, so that's rough. So yeah, that's what's happening behind the scenes. I also want everyone to know that I got pulled over directly before this episode started. It was rough. It was apparently I didn't put my blinker on. I don't think that happened. I mean, I think I put my blinker on. I mean, I could have been doing lots worse. Let's be honest. So,
did you get a ticket, or was it just?
But it was really just the final nail in today and the coffin of this day. So I just want everyone to know what we're dealing with as we head into this episode. That's the context. But this topic is worth showing up for. We want to sweat and tears. We're bringing it to you today. So the topic is once again, just the dangers, and hopefully we can also get into some positives of the digital age that we live in. Obviously, Into the Harvest started because we were in the digital age and we saw the need for ministry within that realm. So we will get to that too. But we do want to cover a couple of more things that we felt like were important to mention and maybe have some feedback for us as believers to combat when it comes to the digital age. So the first one is, oh my goodness, I didn't write it down. What was it?
This is awesome.
Scatterbrain. That's kind of.
Are you being for real right now, or?
Wait! Oh my goodness! I am being for real. That's so funny, guys.
So,
it's being.
The number one danger, folks, is that it can make you scatterbrained. Living in a digital age.
I'm not that good of an actress, guys.
That's good. I mean, that's good production right there.
I am not that good. I'm not. That's so funny. Yeah. So guess what? The digital age makes you scatterbrained. Isn't that crazy? I don't think that's true.
Denial.
Wow.
This is. I mean, we have a multi-level house, so upstairs, downstairs, and I don't know the number of times when I've walked upstairs to do something or to get something, and I get all the way up, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. What did I come up here for? And then, you'll go downstairs. As soon as I get downstairs, I'll remember what it is. But I think probably a lot of people can relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's absolutely a danger of the modern age.
I'll give you guys a recent example to start it off on this topic. Our store at the Exchange, part-time worker, we just opened back up. And my boss tried to convince me for the last 3 or 4 days to do this survey about the whole virus and everything. And I had to do it on my phone, but she told me at least 3 times, and I totally didn't do it. But it's because I would get distracted by something else. So I'm thinking of that verse in Hebrews where it says, no discipline feels good at first, but to those who've been trained by it, it yields a peaceful fruit of righteousness. So it didn't feel good to have her really breathing down my neck about the survey. But at the same time, I was a little scatterbrained. I needed that, So when I took it in and actually got it done, it was really quick. It was a very simple survey, but yeah, scatterbrained. It's funny how it works out because I had to be on the phone, but what was distracting me from the survey was my phone. So, yeah.
I mean, are we just going to blame the digital age for this though? I mean, I just thought that maybe I was ADD or just had children, that those were my reasons. But so you guys, there's studies have proven.
There's definitely studies. Yeah. And I'm not saying those other things aren't compounding factors for sure. Having kids and having ADD probably pre-existed technology, but without question, the interruptions, basically the ability to actually focus and to spend extended time concentrating on a single mental project is a fast disappearing skill in modern times. And I think it's just because we're being interrupted so much by our phones and by technology.
Yeah, so I want to say on this particular topic, I don't know how many of you listening use a Bible app. app. So you read your Bible on your phone. If you do that and you are able to do it, as in you're able to read a whole chapter maybe without getting off of it, I just want to extend my utmost just awe at your abilities, because I am not said person. And I know this about me in regards to the Bible. I use it usually whenever we're in church or in a Bible study. I won't bring my Bible with me because it's like this giant. But I will have, that's when I pull out the Bible app. This past week in church, no one from my church knows this, and I don't know if they listen to this podcast, but they're about to learn. I pulled up our passage on my phone, and I got a text at the same time. And so I was reading the text, and the person leading the church was like, Abigail, why don't you go ahead and start reading the first? And I mean, I was like deer in the headlights, like, oh yeah, sure. And I knew I'd been caught. I mean, I don't know if I pulled it off or not, probably not. The point is that we really have to be real with ourselves when it comes to particularly our disciplines in the Word, to make sure that we are not necessarily combining the digital age with our time with Jesus, just because it's rife with difficulty. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, is this something we can combine? Like, we can use the two?
We got to stop getting convicted on this podcast here. We already had last week where we were talking about screen time and getting all personal. We got to keep
and
this
you and me,
surface,
we were
right?
so much better now. Like last week,
we did do better with our screen time this week. Me and Abby checked in on each other, and we were down a good percentage. But I think that's valid. I really admire what Andrew does with his phone, setting his phone on airplane mode from the night into the morning, till he really spend time with God. I admire that, because you really don't have anything else coming in. I think one of my little ones that I brought up last week was just praying before I touch my phone. I just really got to say, connect with God before I connect with my device, because the device is very responsive, as you guys said. And by the way, random, but if you guys stick around for this whole episodes, me and Andrew will take off our hats to show you how sweaty we really are. So if you can not have ADD and have skater brain and stick to it, we'll take off our hats and we'll show you what we got.
I'm not sure if that's really going to be a big pull for people,
I know, right?
But I'll have some serious hat hair.
Oh, bro.
So I'm down for that.
Just wait.
Yeah. One thing that actually that I just started doing this past week because of this issue, for a couple of years now, I've had my prayer lists on my phone. I've got a note-taking app on my phone. And so it's pretty easy to set reminders for my prayer times, but then also to update different prayer requests, people that I'm praying for, situations that are going on. But I just realized that I'm getting distracted during my prayer time. And so I actually I want to say I threw in the towel, but I think this was the right call. I finally just gave up on trying to do it using my phone, and printed off my notes from the computer so that I can just have prayer time. And I don't even have my phone physically with me now when I'm spending time in the scriptures and in prayer in the morning, because I just can't seem to handle it. So, and even if there's certain days when I do, too often I'll get distracted or I won't finish my time of meditation or prayer. So yeah, this is an ongoing, I think a moving target for us in modern times to live undistracted lives.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is why we're talking about it. I hope that as you're listening, this is just kind of helping you just to think back over your own usage and how you're using it in regards to your quiet times or just your times with the Lord or prayer times, whatever. And just maybe take into account how you're doing. And maybe you're doing awesome. We want to hear about that if you are.
Hey friends, thanks for watching the show. I wanted to take a quick moment to say, if you're someone who's looking for insights, ideas, and inspiration that will fuel your faith for the 21st century, then make sure you sign up for our weekly newsletter, Harvest Highlights. It's free and it's loaded with resources that will help you be a disciple and make disciples in the everyday places. So make sure you check it out. There's a link in the description of this video. Back to the show.
Okay, so the next big one that we did not get to last week was maybe my favorite, and that is that the digital age has really ramped up our ability to look into other people's lives and see what's going on over there, particularly on social media. And definitely on Instagram, which is probably my favorite form of social media. And that is a highlight reel, friends. And so it's very easy to look at other people's lives and get a little envious. So, yeah.
Yeah. So the second one that we wanted to talk about today was how social media in particular can really create within us envy and covetousness. And it reminded me of the passage in Romans 7 where Paul is talking about the law, and he says, I'll just read it. He says, I would not have come to know sin except through the law, for I would not have known about coveting if the law had not said, you shall not covet. Now, social media is not the same thing as the law, but the point is, once the law put it out there right in front of Paul, hey, don't covet, all of a sudden that's all he could do was covet. And social media, I think, is just constantly putting these things out in front of us. And we've talked about this before, but social media tends to be the what do you call it, Abby? The highlight reel?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's not necessarily even reality, but it's just all the highlights that are going on in other people's lives. And I don't know, maybe our listeners, maybe they don't struggle with envy and coveting, but sometimes, when you see something that's really going on well in someone else's life, you're like, man, how come the breaks never come my way? And you can really go into a negative, dark place, which I think is just sort of that's the yellow flag, your emotions and negativity. If you begin to sense that, hey, this is why am I feeling this way? It's probably because covetousness and envy have begun to set in.
Yeah, and I like that, Andrew. I think I can speak to way back when, because I do think that social media and a digital age has something to do with this, but you can go way back to Cain and Abel, when Cain was very upset with Abel because he got accepted by God and he was all downcast after what he did, of course. But then you can go to Peter and John, where Jesus is getting on Peter and urging him to tend to my sheep and tend to my flock. I'm glad we studied this past week with DMG, because I was just looking at it and I'm like, man, why did Peter get distracted in that moment and wonder about John? Like, hey, what about John? Like, what are you going to do with John? But I think it's just human nature. I think it's in us to look at other people's lives and wonder about ourselves and like almost feel like we're missing out, or we don't get that same, love or affirmation. So I think this is deep in the human condition. And I think that's okay, because it's not just like us seeing images or seeing each other, but we're always going to compare ourselves to others just subconsciously or on the inside. But I think it's what we do with that afterwards, So luckily, Peter didn't go beat up John like Cain went and beat up Abel, So thank God for Jesus. So
yeah. Well, how do you guys combat this one? Like when you catch yourself going there, are there things that you do to try to, turn around and go in a positive direction?
Yeah, I think this one is hard, because when I was thinking on this particular topic, what came to mind, actually, I'm really about to do some confession. This is a good, dirty episode, guys. I'm just confessing everything. I almost got a ticket, etc. So in this instance, it's all of the awesome ministry emails that I am a part of. Yeah. So I get a lot of ministry updates. I don't know if you guys do. I hope you do, because that means you're supporting a lot of ministries. And I hope you get ours, which means you're supporting us. That said, those are for sure highlight reels. But being in ministry myself, and, we're definitely bivocational, so we're not doing this full time. But we feel that like tug when you just get this like rock star email, and it's like, we have baptized a bazillion people this month, and bonus points, 5 of those people went overseas and they're starting incredible ministries. And then, and you're just like, what is happening? The people in our church are, awesome, by the way, they're fabulous. But you know what I mean? It's hard sometimes. And so that's when I start to realize just that we really do have that in our hearts, and we have to be careful about it. I was actually reading in my quiet time today about Saul and David. And it was the passage where the women are coming out and they're singing about Saul and David and the killing of the Philistines. And they're like, Saul is killing his thousands and David is killing his 10,000s. And Saul got really ticked, right? Mm-hmm. And it just hit me that this is a perfect example of me getting ticked about people getting baptized. Are you kidding? It's like the killing of Philistines. That's a victory. We should be delighted and cheering each other on. And so that is really where I just have to get before the Lord and confess my sin. I mean, that's just the best bottom line is just me saying, man, God, I want to be excited about this. Help me to be excited about this and help me to do better over here. So it's not a great answer, but it's what I'm doing. So.
No, it's real. And I actually just had this happen yesterday, something similar where, someone had posted something about how great things were going. And I mean, I was happy, but then I was like, man, I wish things were going better here. Which of course they're going fine. Like God is doing what he wants to do in our area. But I think, the Spirit did immediately point out like, hey, what's going on there, And so I think one of the solutions that you mentioned is great, which is just to confess that, just to understand that a part of us is being highlighted that is not Christ-like and that he wants to transform. And I think the second step is to go ahead and pray and rejoice and to actually thank God for what he's doing and to pray for those folks and to really celebrate, to make a choice to celebrate what God is doing in those other places. And there's something about that, that actually liberates your own heart, frees you from that envy or from that covetousness.
Yeah, Andrew, I think mine is similar, just to remember what God has done already. I think so often in the Old Testament and a little bit in the New Testament, maybe not as much, but God is saying, remember how I brought you out of here. Remember how I'm the God of your fathers. Remember, and I think that helps me because it happens so quick. It almost feels like impulse where you're not trying to be coveting somebody or you're not trying to be jealous or compare yourself, but you see it and then boom, you're right there, So I think the steps that I go through is just think about God, like, man, remember what he has done and he'll take me back. I mean, to something that happened that day where I'm like, God, yeah, that was totally you looking out for me. So I can be grateful for that. And you'll move another mountain, a bigger mountain later. Like I can bank on your character. So just remembering what God has done and really holding on to that helps me a lot in those moments.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I agree. We just need to be even purposefully in praise for what is going on in other people's lives. And if we can't do that, then maybe we just need a break. I don't know. That said, you can always check out my Insta stories. I try to really give you the nitty gritty bad stuff that's going down.
People are praying for you.
I mean, pro tip, if you want to get some extra prayers, just have, get on your Insta stories and share the true realities of your day. So no one's coveting me is what I'm saying. That said, we're going to move on to something good. Yay. We're going to end with a positive note. I promise, friends, there really is some good stuff to be said about the digital age. One is this ministry. You're getting to watch this or listen to this because of this delightful age that we live in. So we do want to give props to the digital age for that. And actually, I'll just connect it with what we were just talking about. I am actually really thankful for all of those emails that come into my inbox of just the updates from particularly our friends who are overseas and getting ministry updates from them really regularly. And then I'll also say, I don't know if you guys use WhatsApp or any kind of WhatsApp prayer chains for ministries overseas, but it is so cool to be able to pray in real time for things that are going down in the Middle East and in places that are, a little bit scarier and not quite as cushy as our own. And it is nice to be able to get that in real time. And that's a wonderful thing that brings the body of Christ together. So there are good stuff. What about you guys? What do you think? What has really been one of the key things that the digital age has brought to benefit your own walk?
Yeah, I think just the ability to connect with people that are out of the area. So similar to yours, Abby, I talked about the conversation I had with one of my friends from back in the service. Same thing happened this week. I I wouldn't say it was by accident. I think God is always doing some cool stuff. But yeah, the fact that we could reconnect randomly because of the digital age, we ran across each other and it led to this all day, like, yeah, and we actually text with this time and worked out. It was a good conversation. So, but yeah, I'm amazed that, we got a good friend in Guam. He may be getting extended. His wife has been waiting. But like you said, praying real time for them through that situation because it is difficult. He's over there serving, but at the same time trying to be intentional with folks. But you get bogged down because you got to stay longer, so those prayers are needed a lot more regularly and faster. So it's neat to be able to see people from a distance, whether it's Zoom or Skype or, Messenger, you name it, and to be able to talk to people because even though you can't be face to face, you got to work with what you got, and like this is what we got, and thank God for it. So I'm really grateful for it.
Yeah, I was thinking about this one. I got this really weird analogy, so I don't know if it's going to make sense or not. So when I was thinking about the benefits of the modern age, the digital age, it kind of reminds me of being out in the ocean where there's just a high surf. And if you don't know how to swim, then that could be a nightmare. I mean, you could actually lose your life with the waves just sort of crashing down on you over and over and over. And not knowing how to swim, you're just going to get pulled under by that. Or maybe you know how to swim, but you don't really know how to surf. And so you're able to sort of keep your footing or regain your footing, but the waves are just constantly knocking you around, and it's not a pleasant experience. But if you know how to surf, then you see those same waves and you're excited about them because you actually know how to ride that momentum or to make use of those waves in a way that is fun and beneficial. And I really think that that's just an image that came to my mind when I think about the modern age, that a lot of us have kind of just been transported into this modern world, but we haven't really learned how to swim or how to surf. And in those cases, I do think the digital age can just pull you under. It can really come to dominate your life, whether it's device addiction or pornography or just wasting time, being scatterbrained. I mean, there really are real and present dangers to the digital age if you don't know how to navigate, to kind of ride the wave. But there are some amazing opportunities. So it isn't so much that, Abby, were you the one who came up with the Luddites, the term Luddites, in a past podcast?
I didn't come up with it. It is a real word.
Right. You talked about it, right? Yeah. So
English major for the win.
Yeah. So, we're not trying to say that we need to be Luddites, that, hey, the modern age is bad and we need to go back to a time before technology. But we are saying that there are some new skills that you have to learn, I think, that all of us have to learn if we're going to learn how to make the best use of this modern world. And, connection is one of them. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about next month being able to connect with 20 people from all over the world and learn together, because that's the second thing that I see about the digital age is just an amazing opportunity to learn.
True.
And to be exposed to knowledge and amazing resources. It's part of what we're trying to do with Into the Harvest. So I think trying to see the modern age as full of both opportunities, but also some cautionary areas.
Example, maybe this is, you guys are gonna throw me over the side of the boat for this one, but I really do see it like God telling Adam to go and bring the world into submission. You have to get this thing under control, or it's gonna get like you said, the waves are going to take you over. But this is the world that we live in today. And that word from the Lord is still the same. We have to master it. We have to get it under control. We can't just go outside and be just come at me, world. We'll get eaten by a lion. I don't know what it was like back then. But the point is that today we can't just get up in the morning and get all the devices that we've got and just let it flow, let it come at us. We are living in 24-hour news cycle and constant scrolling. And my kid got a Switch for his birthday. So I've been having this conversation quite a bit with my son about how, he's now 10 and he's old enough to like really play video games like a superstar. And he can't just let that take him over. Like just because we handed it to him doesn't mean he just gets to play nonstop. Right. So even as I was speaking it out loud, I was like, oh, this is a lesson for myself. I agree. There's so much good stuff. If you ask my son, it's definitely on the Switch. That's where the good stuff's at. But for the rest of us, there really is so many exciting things that we can be doing, that we can find. We just have to be not a passive participant in this digital age, for sure. And we do hope that this has inspired you to want to be a part of our online Bible study. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be a really great time. So Andrew, are they gonna have like lives with you? I mean, what do you even know? Am I just putting you on the spot?
Yeah. So for the folks who sign up to be part of this, we will have guided Bible studies each week. So there'll be a homework portion where we provide you with the study itself, and then you'll spend time going through that. At the end of the week, we will have a closed Facebook group, and then we will do a live stream with members of the group to talk about what did we learn, and also give some teaching about these different topics. So we'll mention more about this in the coming weeks on the show, and also in our Harvest Highlights newsletter. So if folks aren't signed up for that, then get signed up and you'll get the info.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that this whole year, 2020, has been such a weird one when it comes to maybe hopefully using technology for good. In our church alone, we have several people that are not local. They're just joining our church via Zoom right now because, their church isn't meeting, or they're between places, and we just happen to be online for them right now. And I think that it's showing more and more that a lot of people are isolated, whether it's because of their situation in life or whatever. And we hope that here at Into the Harvest, we can help fill that little void for you. So we're out of time, friends. We did it. We did it again. We talked about the digital age for a whole 30 minutes. Guys, how you feeling? You guys okay? You gonna share it how sweaty you are?
I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. I'm listening. I'm shining.
Doing all right.
Yeah, no, it's hard to see with this light. Good light, good camera.
Looking great. We made it. We're so glad you guys stuck with us today. We hope that if there's anything that you wanted to share with us about the digital age we missed, we want to hear about it. You can always email us at info@intotheharvest.org. We love our emails, so send us one. And we hope to see you back next week. Thanks, guys.
All right. See you.